Welcome to the Produce Industry Podcast, your weekly download on current events, trends, market reports, and community discussions. Join us each week from Tampa, Florida, as we cover all aspects of the produce supply chain industry. Ladies and gentlemen, here's your host, my boy, the voice of the produce industry, Patrick Kelly.
Hey, produce people, welcome back to the Produce Industry Podcast. I'm your host, Patrick Kelly, also known as Lil Citrus, coming to you live from Tampa, Florida. Everyone, welcome to Ag Life Media Studios, where we are excited to bring you the official voice of the produce industry, everyone. As always, a couple announcements before we get started. We're just coming off of, a trade show a month, and it has been absolutely insane. And again, from CPMA's 100-year celebration to Viva Fresh, and then even the RAFTA conference. So just overwhelming things happening. And I can tell you that all is for the better good of the produce and supply chain industry. Now, when we talk about that better good, we talk about, how are companies living on? How are they creating a legacy? How are they sustaining themselves for years to come? 100 years. Like, think about that. Like, when you think of companies, how many can you count that that are 100 years old? And sustainability is part of that. Having a responsibility of, your industry is a big part of that. And today we're going to talk about corporate responsibility, social responsibility. And we have two just amazing people in the studio today that came out from Miami, Florida, that their companies are involved in social responsibility and even corporate responsibility. And I've been able to spend time with both of these gentlemen on the same trips and on different trips. And Albert Perez, who's going to be our first guest today, coming off of Viva Fresh, he spoke to the Y-TIPA group, the young professionals. So these are anybody under the age of 30, I believe it was. And Albert went out and delivered a captivating 5-minute talk, and it was amazing. It's talking about, how you as a young individual in the producing industry can give back, how not to wait, the little things that you can do today. And it was about water, right? It's about that water for all. And we've seen the logo out there. We've seen the PLU drop on the mangoes. And it's about creating a difference in the world. And then our second guest of the day that we will talk to is Martin Casanova of Thx Dreams. And again, another initiative that gives back. This one gives back to farm workers. So overall, around the board, we're going to talk a lot about corporate and social responsibility today, and hear from people that are on the front line, actually making an impact in the produce industry, and also in another part of an industry that we are in, right? Without water, we have no food, right? Without farm workers, the food can't be picked, processed, or manufactured, right? Again, everyone always says this isn't like iRobot here, where you got just robots picking in the fields. We're not there. And so it's really cool to see people that are on the front line, importing, exporting, and bringing produce all over from all over the world to your table, while having a mission to drive and sustain help to others. So I love it. So a couple key takeaways that you're going to be able to learn today is, how can you get involved? Albert and Martin have great ways that you can get involved. We're actually going to talk about one when Albert comes on, and then Martin as well, of something that we even did while we were together at lunch. And because it's the small little things you can do in your company that make a huge difference. We're going to talk about, where you can make that small impact, how you can be just doing good just by buying produce, right? Little things, right? We say this a lot, and you hear it from your parents growing up. You had to hear this from your parents, right? If you see a piece of trash on the ground, you pick it up. And even though as a kid, you'd say, why? That's not mine. Well, let's leave the earth in a little bit better place than the way we found it, right? And my buddy Mark Hoppenjam says that a lot too. It's like, let's leave the earth a little bit better than the way we found it. And I think that that's, something that these two gentlemen are striving to do as well. And we're going to get some good feedback and takeaways on how to get involved, being involved. And maybe you need that push out there. Maybe you need that push that you want to start something like this. And you don't know how. Maybe this might be your push. Maybe Albert or Martin might be your next call to tell them your idea, what you were trying to do for this industry, because it's cool, it's fun, and to be involved with something bigger than yourself makes it all worth it. And the passion behind it, right? If you love fresh produce, if you love the growing, packing, shipping world, then this is where you want to be. And then beyond that, we'll hear a little bit from both of these gentlemen about what they're doing, how their seasons are progressing, and where to find all that fun fruit and vegetables that they bring in. So everyone, we're going to hear from our sponsor. We're going to hear, we keep talking about history. We're going to hear from another company with over 100 years of service to the produce and supply chain industry. And when we get right back, we will have Albert Perez of Continental Fresh.
120 years ago, in Groningen, the Netherlands, a small produce business began, trading fresh local fruits. By the 1930s, the Vandenberg family moved to Rotterdam, Europe's burgeoning fruit hub. But when the 1940s brought turmoil, they fled to America, rebuilding their legacy in fresh produce. In 1958, Jack Vandenberg became a trailblazer, importing fresh Chilean fruit to the US, opening doors to global flavors. Today, that spirit of growth and innovation continues, with sustainable packaging, carbon footprint tracking, and the finest fruit varieties. We're redefining freshness for the future. Family, fresh, innovation, celebrating a legacy 120 years in the making. This is Jack Vandenberg.
Hey, produce people, welcome back to the Produce Industry Podcast. It's always great to hear from Dynamite sponsors, Dynamite people, just creating dynamite content for the produce and supply chain industry. Everyone, let's go ahead and welcome Albert Perez, my man. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Patrick, thank you for having me.
Hey, man.
Great to see you.
Listen, welcome to the studio.
First time here.
What do you think?
I love it.
Is it everything you expected, my friend?
It is more. It's more. It's very fancy. Very fancy.
It's it's a work in progress, and I've talked about this on all the shows so far. I'm like, hey, listen, it's a work in progress because this is new for me as well. So I'm learning what to do and how to do things. So it's trial and error. So I appreciate you coming up for a trial run, right?
You're killing it, man. It's about the love that you pour into.
Oh man, listen, I do love it, man. I said that in the intro. It's like if you can find a way to give back while you're doing something that you love, which is in this industry, it's awesome, right?
If you do something you love, you never work a day in your life.
Never, ever, ever. And that's the problem sometimes. We're traveling all over the world. We're having great dinners, and it's all for the love of providing fresh produce to the world.
Absolutely.
Right? So really cool. You said you wanted to say something too. You asked a question. You were like, hey, can I say something?
No, I just wanted to say that the commercial that played right before with Jack Vandenberg, that was beautiful, man. I love that. Love the history.
The history of fresh produce. I mean, listen, you don't realize that some of these companies have been here since the 1800s.
What I like is that you help tell company stories, and so much richness in the history and the stories behind a lot of companies. And to be able to see a short clip like that, I didn't even know that much about the Vandenberg company, and I loved it. So
yeah, it is pretty. I always say it is pretty cool because some of the things that I get to experience is cool companies, right? Doing great things. So your company's doing a great thing. We talk about corporate and social responsibility. Just came off of Viva Fresh. You talked there to the young professionals group. And it's been an amazing ride, I say too, Albert, of just, us being able to enjoy what we've done together. What was that? Our conversation was 4 years ago. I mean, go back and listen on the podcast, everyone. Like, we don't need to keep repeating it, but I've been to every trip since, every year.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's big for me because it's not even about my company, right? It is the produce industry, and I support it through our industry. But man, it's just giving back and helping others is just amazing.
We have an amazing network. So we're not 100. We're a teenager. We're turning 18 this year as a company, Continental Fresh. I've been in the industry now for 38 years, but since we started Continental, we'll be turning 18. But the network that we've been building through the Ag Life media, through our community, is pretty special, and it's great when we get a chance to, like I did, talk to the younger generation, 35 and under of YTIPA, because they are the future of our industry, right? And being able to share a little bit of the experiences that we have had throughout our careers, and telling them that it's a very exciting and consequential moment in their careers. They can decide which direction to go in, and it was very inspiring. I was very humbled by the opportunity.
Yeah, I loved it, man. I think that when we were able to talk to Dante earlier in the year, it was like, hey, let's figure out a way to talk about this, and then having Dante come on the trip, it was even better, right? Because then it was more of, I get it. I know what you're doing, right? Versus how do you promote something without doing it, right?
Right.
And that's a hard thing, but it happens all the time, right?
Yeah, no, and Dante coming on board was great because he got to really live the passion that we have for water. He got to visit a town where a water project was built. This year, Sabrina Fisher, the marketing director, is coming with us as well. And I suspect after this presentation at YTIPA, some of the younger generation is going to want to join us as well.
Oh, 100%. I definitely think they're going to, because I think what's happening is they're going to see a passion. They're going to see, hey, wait a minute. I've always wanted to do something like this. I said that in the intro, is that we have so many young people, even like yourself, how many years ago that you were like, I'm going to go down here and do this. And it created something different than you ever thought. You had things in your mind, but you didn't know what you were doing.
No idea.
You didn't know that you were going to start it. You just knew that, hey, I have a passion for this. I want to do this. It's almost like I always say, like, in your kids, which, by the way, congratulations on Bella getting into UF. But it's even stuff like that, like asking your kid, what do they want to do when they grow up, right? They know what they want in their head, but they can't articulate that yet. Yeah. They can't say like, oh, I want to own a company and be a businessman and do this and this and this and this and this. It's a lot of it's trial and error.
Right.
Same thing with giving back. You got to start somewhere, and somewhere small, right?
Yeah, like a lot of people just are trying to wait for the right moment, or try to wait for something is perfect. And I say, you know what? Do something, and do something now. Don't wait. Any act of service done with love is something that's going to make an impact. So yeah. By the way, Bella, she's going to study business, but she's studying something called sustainable business, right? Which has an element of that giving back, of being mindful of the environment. So, yeah, today's young people think a lot more about these things.
They do,
and I think that's why our company has resounded with so many people.
I agree, and I'm going to tell a story about the book you have. First of all, so Albert has a book here, everyone, and this book was given to him by Martin Casanova,
my good friend Martin,
and he'll be on the show. He's actually in the green room right now getting makeup on.
He dedicated it to me too.
Yeah, makeup. He's getting it all done right now, but
so a lot of makeup for that.
Funny, so crazy story is though, Bert, is so it's 2000. It was like 2012, 2013. I'm in my entrepreneurship degree. That's what I went. This is while I'm running my company too. Like it wasn't like me going to college and like I was working at Subway. No, like I owned my own business when I went to college. Okay. And so it's funny because I started getting all these electives. I'm like, what am I going to do for electives? I have no idea. And one of the electives was a social entrepreneurship class. And Tom's was a big case study in that. And UNICEF was another case study. A lot of case studies on social responsibility and companies doing good for other people. And so at a young age, I started learning that too. I was like, well, how would I ever incorporate this? Right. So I was like, I guess I can't say like duped, but I was always the guy that like in Costa Rica, we did pineapples. So I was always like, yeah, I want to give to that rainforest certification. I want to do that because my goal is like, if I could help any way I can without knowing how, I want to. Right. So even back in college, I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it. Right. I mean, I thought selling fresh produce was as good as it gets, right? With giving back, we're giving food to people, but there's more to it, right? And you know that too. There's a lot more. So what can we tell as we're talking about, getting involved early though, but I don't know how. You just said it, like, how do you start that though? And how does someone that's in their 20s go, I want to do this. I have this big ambition and big goal, right? And I want to do this for other people, and I want to do this. And then they get to the point when they go, but I can't do that. Why is anybody going to do that with me? Why is anybody going to care what I have to do for someone in the Dominican Republic or another country? How can we encourage them?
So we call it finding your drop, right? And finding your drop means kind of searching for your purpose. And your purpose somehow lies in between something that you love, something that you're talented in, and a need and some kind of need that you can impact. And what we tell everybody is, inform yourself of your environment. Look around for something that may need some help, something that may need some fixing, something that may need something that you could contribute. And, it can come from something as simple as just being true to the values that you learned as a kid from your parents, from your teachers, and then trying to connect that to a need that you see. And then again, it's all about action. Find the moment, find a way to help, even a little bit, because you just don't know what impact you're going to have. But I can guarantee that whatever you do, you're going to make a difference. And start small.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's kind of like my advice, right?
Yeah. Find your drop. I mean, I think that's a big thing we talk about on our Pico trips as well, which we promote the heck out of. And you know what, people, it's funny because it's like, it's not so much we want to advertise it. I feel like this is more of a person to person, like networking. When you want to talk about the trek, it's like, we don't want to blast it everywhere. We'll tell you what we did on it, but it's like, I want to connect with good people that want to do this, right? I don't want to have to convince you. I want to have to convince you if you're a hiker, you already love doing this and your main goal is holding you back as your job or something, like, hey, my work really won't let me off. I'm going to be like, hey, call me. I'm going to give you some strategies on how to talk to your work, right? Like they could be involved in something bigger too, right? Yeah. This is not just a personal trip, right? And we talk about this. This is something that businesses can write off when they donate to a Water for All.
A company has no idea what kind of a transformation their employee is going to go through after an experience like this. First of all, you're sharing with other industry professionals that each have their own story to tell. But putting yourself through this climb and then through the visit of the community with the water really opens up your mind and really invites you to find that drop, really invites you to say, well, where is it that I can make an impact when I return back to my company? And I'll tell you what, I envision a world in which all companies have a purpose or a cause that that they love and that they are giving back to. And, we all have a role to play in this ecosystem of giving. And a company is a huge platform. You can use your company for good. And like my friend Martin says, doing good is good business.
Yes, doing good is good business. We definitely know that, don't we? And we see it through our relationships as well. So, Albert, I appreciate you coming to the studio. I say we get our friend Martin Casanova in as well to talk about, Thanks Dreams and how he's making a difference as well, and get some key takeaways from him to find out what more we can do to get young people involved. And remember, it's not too late. If you're on the outside of your career, I mean, we have people, and what's great about it is like my co-host Juanita, right? She is all about things, right? She's all about learning new things. Mm-hmm. And again, she always hates when I tell her age, and I'm like, why? I'd be proud of that. You're amazing, right? Because she is, right? And so I'm always like, and you're starting things so new, and you're being involved in things you never were involved in. She loves the Pico. She's like, I'm going on Pico again next year. We're like, woman, we are not letting you hike. But she goes, but what if I tell Albert, I'll stay back and I'll help the ladies at the house? What more can I do to help his mission? Yeah. So now I'm like, I like where you're going with this. She's like, I still want to go. Why can't I go?
Yeah, she can come.
Right. And I'm like, you're so right. She's like, I want to be there when you guys get down. Hey guys. Right. Like,
and she can visit the town.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
awesome.
All right, everyone. We're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna hear from Zag Technical Services, learn a little bit about cybersecurity, and then when we get back, we will have Martin Casanova on. So, Albert, thanks for coming by.
Thank you.
Zag Technical Services, we do many things. Managed services for IT needs, including consulting. Another area of expertise for us is cybersecurity, making sure that there's awareness and risk prevention. And then the final piece is the data and software services, where whether it's software automation, data management, even AI, we have things that we can do to help your business. Those are core components that your company relies on. So we have a rich history of being able to manage these IT services so that you don't have to worry about them. You trust us so that we keep your operations going and your business going ultimately. When we talk about what AI can do for you and the time savings, even though you don't think you have something that you can just put AI in, you probably do if you have a business case that could be benefited from automation or efficiencies that are brought in. We can trust AI to do those things. And the beauty of that is you can free up time for your employees to do more meaningful work. So even if you think you may not benefit, I think it's worth a conversation because you will be surprised. We'll walk you through every step of the way, and we're here to help.
That's right, everyone. Zag Technical Services. Everything you need to know about cybersecurity. Again, hackers know that the food supply chain can't be down, and that's why they come after us. So check out Zag Technical Services and understand how to get protected against hackers and cybersecurity threats. Everyone, it was great to have Albert Perez in studio today. And now we've got another great gentleman who is coming on, and another company that is giving back, social responsibility, corporate responsibility. We're going to hear from Martin Casanova, and we're going to chat with him a little bit. Something we did at lunch today, which we've been talking about since October of last year. And I think just, how do we get to a point where we can do small little things and do good? And Martin will talk a little bit about that. And so I'm happy to have him on the show today. Martin Casanova, welcome.
Hey, Patrick, how are you? Thanks for having me.
Hey, great to see you, my friend, in studio too, as well. So thank you, sir.
No, it's a pleasure to be here. It's a great studio, and it was awesome to share lunch with you and our friend Albert. It's such an honor to also share this episode with him.
I know, right? I thought, like, hey, how do we do this the right way with having you guys come up on the same day? And this is how we do it. We talk about corporate responsibility. We talk about, listen, technically, I mean, if you think about it, like if you were importing mangoes, you'd be a competitor. But on another side, you would think like, oh, but we're both having 501(c)(3)s. We both give back. We both try to get donations, but there's no competition at all. Your drive and your focus is on other things, right?
Yeah, of course. And I always say that, of course, we don't sell mangoes, but eventually we could have a partner. But again, we always say that our competitors are the companies that they are not doing anything, or the people who is indifference, or people who don't care. We and Albert, and of course there are other programs out there that we are trying to do something different and trying to do good. But we are so excited with what we are doing and with the impact that we are having, that again, I never compete with Albert. I try to promote him as much as I can. I know he wants me to do good. And again, there are different programs. We focus in farm workers, he focuses in water, but we are both focusing in doing good. So I always say that, it's such a pleasure to share this path with him and his company. And again, it's like our competition is always to be indifference.
Yeah, the other side.
People who don't care. And there is, no, they don't care. Probably they are not doing, there are a lot of people that are not doing anything. So that's
right.
That's our market.
And there's a difference between the people that aren't doing anything and the people that just refuse to do anything, right? Because there's like Albert said in the beginning of the episode, it was, let's try to help you if you're thinking about it, right? There's a difference. The people that just don't care, right? Mm-hmm. And the people that just don't know, right? So yeah. I like that too. It's a great
I have like, the purpose of Thanks is connecting farm workers with consumers.
Yeah.
But I have like two personal purposes. That one is to prove that good is good business, and the other is to promote doing good in all the actions that we do. There are a lot of simple ways to make a difference. Each one of us can do something good. And probably not everyone can start a company, not everyone can donate a lot of money, but there are millions of ways to make a difference. So that's part of my personal purpose to try to promote people to do good in the ways that they can.
I agree, and it's tough too, right? Like there's so many aspects of trying to do good and wanting to do good, and I think we've been able to establish that. Like, let's talk about that. Like last year what was it? A year, 2023. We're not hiking Pico, but you had this idea. This was not my idea. The idea was from you, the brainchild, right? Was like, hey, how do we get someone to donate? Everybody goes to these big dinners, and we came up with the kind of like, hey, I pay, you pay. Which the concept was very simple, everyone. It's like, listen, if you go to grab the check at a business lunch or somewhere, and the other person reaches and says, hey, I'll take this. Your objective is to say back, okay, I'll pay for it, but you donate to this cause, right? And so we've started to do that, and I've even told some people about it, and they're like, this is a great idea. So this year, we're putting those donation links on the Produce Industry Podcast mobile application. So that way it's going to be in my mind, but we also just did it here. And we want to do it with you, right? While we're on the show, right? Because that's what we did. Albert took the check pretty slick, didn't he?
Yeah.
And you gotta watch that guy.
Yeah, he did it. But that's idea is the easiest ways to make a difference.
Yeah.
We were there. The three of us were willing to pay to invite for lunch. Okay. The three of us were willing to spend that like $80. And we say, okay, let's do the following. Albert pick very fast the check. So you
Super
and
fast.
me, we donate that exact amount of money, and we are doing that to Blue Missions actually.
And that's what I think is cool about it as well. And there's many ways you can do that, right? You can go on the website yourself, right? But what we're going to try and do this year is, and I got my mobile app always pulled up, everyone. But so if you go to the app, the Produce Industry Podcast, and click support the show, we've got a lot of show features here. And so you can be a club of HFP, but now we've got Thanks Dreams right there. So you can click that right here. This is for the feeding, the dreaming and seeding futures. And you can pick what you would like to donate on this. But what you can also do is, when I had to make sure, Martin, that you approved, like I told you at lunch today, if you like that, then that's how we can start doing good from the Produce Industry Podcast. And I even said, I'm going to create a mission that if it's out of sight, it's out of mind, right? So now it's on my phone. So now I know every time I go to dinner, if I offer to take the check and they say no, my mission this year is to donate back into the mobile application, it'll go to the Thanks Dreams Fund. But then even myself, that's how my little bit of doing good is going to start this year. I just had to make sure you approved. If you like it, then we're going to start it. And then that way, when you go out, everyone, you're going to pay it anyways. And it's a donation. So guess what? Yeah. It's a write-off, no difference than what? The dinner.
Exactly.
Right?
That you're willing to pay.
That you're already willing to pay.
Yeah. And also you can share the link of the video that we did. We did a great video.
We did.
It was my first incursion in.
It was the first commercial. It was great. Ross was our cameraman. We'll drop that in the comments, everyone. So check it out. There's a link in the comments. You can check out the video. But it gives you an idea of what to do, how to do it. And then download the Produce Industry Podcast mobile app, because then you can have that direct app on it. Or if you want to just go directly onto the thanksdreams.com site, save that as a bookmark in your phone, so that when right? Yeah. Tell Martin, because again, with giving back, it's got to be top of mind. How do we get people to think of that little doing good at the top of their mind when there's a million distractions always going on, though?
That's what I say that is my purpose. Try to promote, to convince people to again, it's not going to be like the first thing in our mind, because we all have a lot of we struggle with a lot of things. But if we spend like 1 minute per day just to think about doing good, that's a big difference. And let me probably explain how it works, the Thanks program and Seeding Futures, because the Thanks program, or each time you see a sticker in the stores, or when you are buying any fruit that is branded or co-branded as Thanks, the consumers are just helping that farm worker. So because we pay the dreams with our profits or with the fee that the companies pay to us. But then we have Seeding Futures, that is our non-profits, where we support farm workers and their families with education. So that's when we are receiving donations from consumers, or anyone who wants to donate for Seeding Futures. They are donating for educational programs to farm workers, not to the dreams. The dreams are funded through
different,
with the fruits, that with the sales of the fruit. So consumers are contributing just buying the fruit. But if they want to donate for Seeding Futures, that is
totally different.
It's our non-profit. The money goes directly to educational programs.
And realistically, I'm glad you said that, because for me, it's like I mix a lot of it together, because I am trying to figure out a way to get people excited about just doing good. And so there are different programs, everyone, like Martin said. A lot of the big ones that we promote and talk about is always the farm workers awareness, right? That QR code that you see on the kiwis, on the grapes, right? On the different products, right? So if you see that, make sure you scan it, check it out. It was funny, Martin, because I had someone else in the studio just a few weeks ago. And I brought it up, and the guy was like, well, no, I saw this one that has the pictures on it. I go, that's the one I'm talking about, right? That's Thanks. And he kind of was like, oh, okay. But it's funny, because how many times does it take you to get used to a brand too? Now, when he sees it again, he's probably going to go, that's the brand Patrick was telling you about. Exactly. Now I'm not going to forget about it. And then you might get a couple scans in that area. Yeah. So, it's pretty cool, man. And we've been able to share a couple cool experiences together with giving back. And it's one of those things, Martin, where I didn't see it when I was younger, right? I didn't know. And now that I'm getting older, it's like, how do we get more involved, right?
Yeah. The book that I just gave to Albert, that, by the way, I gave it to you like 2 years ago when we met the first time.
I still have it.
So it's called,
on my bookshelf,
Start Something That Matters.
Yes.
And again, I know not everyone can start a new business, but something that matters. Do something. It's important to have a purpose and to do something that really matters for the world, for the people, for the water, for the farm workers, whatever. We always, at least I'm very touched by farm workers, because in my opinion, are like the less fortunate people in the whole chain in the industry. And I'm so happy that we are putting them like in the minds of the consumers, especially, that what I think that we talk many times about the feedback that we have from consumers. We receive emails like almost every day, and people really wants to do good, especially young people. But I think that people really wants to do good. But again, probably they can spend like 10 hours per week.
It's so true.
Like or they cannot go to a non-profit or spend a lot of time. But they can buy a product like a mango for all, water for all. They can buy a grapes from
exactly.
Thanks. It's same cost, same everything, same quality, but you are making a huge difference in the people.
You are, and this is what I love about this, because we have other companies that do certain. Might as well just bring it up, like Jack Vandenberg, another one of our sponsors. Mm-hmm. They do Save the Children's, right?
Yeah, awesome.
And I know you've gone out there and you've talked to them about being a Thanks participant as well. Mm-hmm. But, I was doing some videos the other day, and your video came up, Jack Vandenberg video came up, and Albert's video. I literally have 3 videos right now that we're editing in queue. Mm-hmm. And I thought to myself, like, Oh man, I even thought about Mary too. I was like, Mary's going to get mad at me. She's like, she's going to see 3 videos with 3 different giving back labels in 1 week. But then I said to myself, no, I'm going to create a social responsibility week. And that week I'm going to have Jack Vandenberg Save the Children, Thanks Dreams, Farm Workers Awareness, and Continental Fresh Water for All.
Yeah.
So it's not just about, oh, wow, why are you representing other brands? Like you said, I'm representing the people, the competitors, like we said, are what? The ones that don't care. Let's represent a week where we talk about 3 different companies that have 3 different missions that are giving back.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's awesome.
Right?
You know, one of my dreams that
tell me. Because I've heard a couple. I've heard a couple already. So tell me this one.
No, it's like of course, like that more and more companies do good and more programs like ours. And of course, there are other programs out there that they are great, but that probably in the future in the stores, you can see like an aisle, or you can see like a special part of the products department with like social impact brands. You know, like more retailers are like giving also the consumers like a special space to choose the brands that they are doing good. Again, there are a lot of brands that they are doing good in different ways, but I think that one of the reasons that Albert's program is very successful, and we are being really very successful and growing a lot. And of course, a company like Jack Vandenberg that has like hundreds of history, and they are doing a great job, not only with Save the Children, they also do a lot of other stuff in terms of sustainability that are really cool. But again, we need more people doing good, you know, more people doing good. Consumers are demanding doing good. And also retailers and big corporations and big food service companies, they are demanding the growers to do good for the community.
We have to, because one of the things that, and I did, listen, you've met my buddy Mike Chavez, okay? Veteran-owned company, Hispanic-owned company, right? But can't get into a retailer to promote that, right? And that alone, it's like Mike and I were having a conversation of how do we start something that gives back as well? Because the traditional things, even though we're minority-owned and a veteran-owned company, there's so many companies that are already doing I forget what it's called. The Pandal brothers do it. John Pandal does it. For the veterans, a Wounded Warrior Project and things like that. But they only allow so many people to do those projects, right? Yeah. And again, with you guys, you know where your money's going. I'm not saying you don't know where your money's going, but with some of these big organizations, you know, you're donating, and so are millions and millions of other people. With yours, you know, like, hey, you supported this specific farm worker. Yeah. You helped these people get laundry services, a moped, a refrigerator, like something that's going to impact their life, education. So what are some key takeaways? Albert gave some good key takeaways on how to get the young people involved, because he just came off of speaking at YTIPA. But what can we tell our industry when thinking about social and corporate responsibility and how to give back as we start to wrap this episode up?
Yeah, you know, how they give back is really very easy. You know, partnering with companies that they are doing good. Again, programs that they are doing good, helping their communities, and again, probably combine the business with, because again, there are a lot of companies that they do good, but they are not communicating that to the consumers. So what we are trying to do is to put together the consumers with the good actions that we are doing, so we can do better business. If we do better business, we are going to help more farm workers. That's the goal, you know?
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think that I love that you said that too, because I do think what we need to do is the retail aspect. I really think that we need to start pitching retailers some of this stuff, because we're trying to pitch other people, right? And it's like, oh, this is what our business is. It's great, right? We love telling our peers, but we also got to get the buy-in from the retailers. You know, I was just even talking about, you know, we're in Florida. You've seen fresh from Florida, right? Yeah. You see that everywhere. It's like, why don't we have they used to have like a Florida citrus. They still kind of do, but why don't we have a citrus from California, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we have these things that specifically help and market these specific communities and give back directly to that? Look, avocados from Mexico has proven that you can take a commodity and brand an entire commodity, right? And think about where that money can go back into the ground.
Yeah.
Where could that money go? Back into farm workers, right? Where can that money go? Back into the farming community as a whole, right,
Yeah.
Martin? So, I mean, think about that. I say when you're talking about those key takeaways, it hits me because there's so many ways to get involved, and there's so much out there that's already happening. And so, if you take a mango, a grape, a citrus, any type, right, you can come up with one thing for every single commodity, and think about how much good we could do.
Yeah.
Right.
In a very simple way.
Oh my gosh, in a very simple way. And so, Martin's out here. He's an importer. They've got a sales company, and it's not about, oh, well, Martin imports Argentinian lemons, so do we. Well, let's get together then, and maybe you're supporting some of the same growers there. Well, maybe we create that thanks logo for your customer and your package, because that's only going to make them look better too. Exactly. Right. And then what does that do? It builds that growing community, right?
Yeah.
I got to ask you a question.
Yeah.
What one country do you want to get into to support farm workers? I know because I know you're doing a lot in the South America right now, Central America. What is one company on your list that you're like, I have to get into this country?
Again, of course, for us, that for me, especially that I'm from Argentina, South America, every time we help people from South America, it's really special. But again, I think that sometimes farm workers, they are quite, the needs that they have and the limitations that they have, especially like living in rural areas and having seasonal works, are quite similar. You can surprise also a lot of needs that they also have here in the United States. So we are doing now with Seeding Futures, we also have some students in Mozambique and South Africa, Morocco. So we have like some countries that they are not that common for us. But again, we are also helping with Seeding Futures. We have some students in Dominican Republic. So we have a lot in Mexico as well. So again, I think it's not about a nationality. Of course, every time we have a dream from Argentina, and especially from my town or from my city, that's very special for me. But we have a lot from Chile, we have from Peru, we have from Uruguay, we do have from Brazil, of course Mexico. It's important, United States. So I'm so happy every time we have like a new partner or a new grower that is into the program, that we can make a huge impact on their people.
Listen, I love that. You're kind of like me. I always say, like, one more download, I'm happy.
Yeah.
Like one more like someone said to me when I first started, people were like, how many downloads you got? And I got like 13 downloads that week. And I was like, well, I can only count like 9 people that I know would listen. So it's like those 4 other people, God bless them, because thank you for listening. Right.
Yeah.
So I love that it's just, one more person, one more connection. I think it's great. I think, we've been talking, I'm looking at going over to Fruit Attraction this year. I want to meet more growers over there. I want to meet more people. I even thinking about flying over to Italy to go visit some apple growers over in Italy. And every time I do stuff like that, and I call you, right? I've already called you about Fruit Attraction because I want to do it. And everyone need a chaperone. I do not speak Spanish. Martin, I need a real like chaperone over here. And I think it'd be great because, again, we serve the same mission, right? Which one, citrus, right?
Yeah.
Hey, right. 1, 2, doing good. And then 3, I need you. Like, so everyone, we're thinking about going to Fruit Attraction, and I think it'd be good, right? So
yeah, that would be awesome.
Martin, thank you so much for coming on the show today, and it just it gives a real testament to the work that you're doing, the work that Albert's doing, the work of just getting involved in the community, man. So thank you so much. I mean, seriously.
No, thank you. It's such an honor to be in your show.
Hey, man, as we say at the Produce Industry Podcast, and on our videos and everywhere that we are. We will see you in the fields, everyone, and on the horizon.